Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Table Talk, Bills Mafia's Countdown to Kickoff, presented by GoBillsPodcast.com. I'm your host and founder of the page, Brett McDurphy, and I'm glad to be with you tonight to discuss this upcoming matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Atlanta Falcons in less than 15 minutes. Let's get into the inactives for both teams, and we'll start with the visiting Buffalo Bills. And their inactives include Dalton Kincaid with that oblique injury, Curtis Samuel, who has a neck injury and a rib injury, Matt Milano with a pectoral injury, Jimmy Charlo is inactive, and Chase Lunt round out the inactives for the Buffalo Bills, with those two players being the only two players that do not have an injury designation for them on the Buffalo Bills. Some interesting moves for the Buffalo Bills. I don't believe they moved anybody up to the active roster as far as players. They did have two open spots on the roster that they could have moved up, but they did not. So let's get into the Atlanta Falcons side of things. Wide receiver Darnell Mooney, defensive back Billy Bowman Jr., wide receiver Ray McLeod, cornerback Clark Phillips III, running back Jonathan Carter, offensive lineman Jack Nelson, defensive lineman LaCale London round out the inactives for the Atlanta Falcons. So interesting moves for the Buffalo Bills. I don't see any inactive or players that got called up. I'm looking to see if Jordan Poyer got called up to the roster, and I don't believe he did. Actually, they did. They elevated two players to the active roster. I apologize about that. Jordan Phillips and Jordan Poyer both active for the Buffalo Bills this week. I apologize for not getting that news to you earlier in the day, but that is the round out for the two players that they did have openings on the active roster for. Last week hurt for the Buffalo Bills. The Bills lost 23-20 against the New England Patriots. Sloppy turnovers, missed red zone chances, and no finish cost the Bills their first loss of the season. This week it's all about execution for the Buffalo Bills. Joe Brady wants rhythm early on in the game. You'll see more motion, more up-tempo, and quick throws to get Josh Allen the ball in the game and to get the ball out of his hands and more comfortable. Quick points to note, James Cook still is the leading back for the Buffalo Bills, and he is going to make that balanced attack even better for the Buffalo Bills. Second-year man Ray Davis needs to come into his own in year two. He's starting to have a little bit of trouble in the short yardage game, but this is the game where he could emerge in Buffalo as that number two running back. Keon Coleman still looking for some answers for him. He has been questioned about his character off the field in terms of being late to meetings and stuff like that. This is the game where he could emerge as a number one wide receiver in the NFL if he steps up big today. Other players in Khalil Shakir needs to be clutch across the middle of the field for Josh Allen. And without Dalton Kincaid in the lineup, Dawson Knox is going to have a big day and become a matchup nightmare in the middle of the field as well for the Buffalo Bills. Allen's ready to get lit up under the dome lights in Atlanta, and there's no weather, no wind, so this is just raw arm talent for Josh Allen where he can have a big day. The defense is under a little bit of pressure today, especially losing Matt Milano for this game, but the Bills do have a nasty attack with Joey Bosa, Ed Oliver, and Greg Rousseau all cooking, and this is the first game back for Ed Oliver since week one, so this could be a very big day. But without Matt Milano, it comes down to a few players in Shaq Thompson and Dorian Williams who are going to have a big day going up against Kyle Pitts for the Atlanta Falcons, their tight end. He is one of the uber unique tight ends in the NFL, and this could be a huge day for them if they are able to stop not only Kyle Pitts, but the offense of the Atlanta Falcons. Linebacker Terrell Bernard, the middle linebacker and other linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, is going to be calling plays today for the Buffalo Bills in the middle of the field. He has his hands full as well, going up against Bijan Robinson, one of the NFL's best running backs in the league. And this offense of the Atlanta Falcons starts and ends with Bijan Robinson. He's top 5 in total yards, elite vision, and he's a mismatch anywhere he is across the field for the Atlanta Falcons. And this could get really interesting for the Bills if they are able to stop the run and stop that Swiss Army knife of Bijan Robinson. It could be very interesting for the Buffalo Bills. John Robert coming in on Facebook. Appreciate you, John, for joining us on Facebook. Do you have a game day roster you could send? I do not yet, but I will definitely get it over to you as soon as I get it, John. The retractable roof, if needed, is going to be big. Absolutely. And don't forget to like and share. Absolutely, John. Thank you for mentioning that. Don't forget to like and share. You can follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. You can find us, but most importantly on our website, gobillspodcast.com. Some quick notes for the Falcons is this is year 2 of Michael Penix Jr. He has a big arm, solid rhythm throws, but when the pocket collapses on him, he starts to panic. And this could be a huge day for the Bills defensive line if they're able to get to Michael Penix Jr. That's where Buffalo can feast. And if the front 4 wins, turnovers will follow for the Buffalo Bills. And that's where they can get some wins on the day and get off to a good start. Let's get into the next segment that we're going to talk about, which is the key matchups. And let's start with the player that's been challenged this week in Keon Coleman in terms of his being late for practices and meetings for the Buffalo Bills. This is where he can really stand out. He's going to be going up against A.J. Terrell, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. And this matchup is going to be a big physical battle. Terrell's technique versus Coleman's size. Whoever wins this matchup decides Buffalo's vertical attack. Then you have Bijan Robinson going up against Shaq Thompson and Dorian Williams. This is the matchup that with Matt Milano's absent that makes it tough. Those two have to play disciplined football, no over pursuit, wrap up Bijan Robinson and have a day and swarm the ball. Then my last key matchup is going to be Josh Allen going up against the Falcons containment. If Josh Allen escapes the pocket, game over for the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta's a young defense that can't plaster very long. And if Josh Allen gets out of the pocket and utilizes his legs, it's going to be a big day for him. John Roberts ready for Joshua Palmer to get his first touchdown with the Buffalo Bills. Absolutely. I completely agree with you on that. Some keys to the victory for the Buffalo Bills is win the first downs, stay ahead of schedule, and keep the ball moving in your direction. Contain Bijan Robinson. He has to make Atlanta throw the ball and protect the football for Buffalo. No more giveaways. You got to protect the football. My last key to victory for the Buffalo Bills, 0, and I mean 0, just like the Kansas City Chiefs last night, 0 penalties. No penalties on the day. Make sure that you're having a clean game. Don't give them any chances to stay in this game, especially with penalties. That's the most crazy stat that you can possibly have, is being a bonehead and hurting your team on those plays. My father coming into the chat saying no penalties on the day. Appreciate you, Dad, for watching. I know you're not feeling good, but let's get a win for you today on a day that you're not feeling the best, and hopefully you can get better soon, and I'll see you in a little bit. For the Atlanta Falcons to get a victory, even though we are Buffalo Bills fans, we have to play the other side of the ball. What do they need to do to get a victory here? Ride Bijan Robinson all day. Force turnovers against Buffalo, especially last week with the 3 turnovers. They were able to make the mistakes, and that's where the New England Patriots capitalized. Then control the clock for the Atlanta Falcons. If they control the clock, they're going to eliminate the amount of times that Josh Allen is on the field, and that's where the Bills could be in trouble. But for Buffalo, again, you've got to control the clock. Keep 7 points on the board each and every drive that you're going down the field, and make sure that you're finishing drives. That's the biggest thing that I haven't seen from the Buffalo Bills is they start off a drive very good, then it's penalties, then it's being in 3rd and long situations. You can't have that. You've got to have a good attack on the day and be able to put points on the board. This is not one of those games where you can keep the Atlanta Falcons in it, especially when you have the New England Patriots right on the cusp of claiming the AFC East title right now, early on in the season. But for the Buffalo Bills, this is one of those physical, fast, and loud games. Atlanta will punch early with Bijan Robinson getting yards, but Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have way too much firepower, and that's where the pass rush of the Buffalo Bills will close the door late in the game. I have game notes for the Buffalo Bills. I have Josh Allen with 285 yards, 3 total touchdowns on the day, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Bijan Robinson having 25 carries for 138 yards, 1 touchdown. And I also have multiple sacks on the day for Joey Bosa and Greg Rousseau combining for the game-clinching sack on the day. The Buffalo Bills will get back into the winning column and improve to 5-1 on the year, and remind the NFL that even though they are banged up and they are heading into the bye week, they're built different from other teams around the NFL. The Buffalo Bills get the victory 27-23. If you're looking for a game where you can see the Buffalo Bills cover the spread, this is the game. If you have a 3.5-point spread, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. If you have a larger spread, I'm leaning towards the Falcons. I think it's going to be a very close game in the Dome. Now, the Dome is open today, which is going to be great to see, and I can't wait to see that. The Bills get back into the winning column, improve to 5-1, get on to the bye week, and get healthy again with upcoming players like Larry Ogunjobi, as well as Michael Hoyt coming into the roster. And the Buffalo Bills could add another player in their rookie cornerback and first-round pick, Maxwell Hairston, to the lineup. Obviously, they didn't open up the window before the bye week, but they have 2 weeks before they can elevate him and decide whether he's going to activate his practice schedule. So we could see him back in the lineup. Yes, early on in the week, it was 3.5 points for John Robert. I appreciate you for mentioning that. It was 3.5 points. Got moved to 4.5 points for the Buffalo Bills. So I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons to cover the spread, but the Buffalo Bills to win the game. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, as well as on our website, GoBillsPodcast.com. We're just under 5 minutes away from the start of the Buffalo Bills and Atlanta Falcons Monday Night Football game. My dad coming into the chat saying, "Go Bills, rebound game, solid defense." Absolutely agree with you there. On the day, I completely agree with what you're saying. But lastly, I want to say this real quick before the game starts. Buffalo, you got to contain. You got to dictate both sides of the ball in terms of the line of scrimmage. You got to dominate the line of scrimmage and have a feast of a day. If they're able to do these things, the Buffalo Bills get a victory, and I can't wait for that. Just minutes away, grab your popcorn, get ready, get on your couch, get the remote in your hand, and turn it to the Buffalo Bills game on ESPN tonight. We will have the announcers for the day. I believe it's going to be Louis Riddick, Dan Orlowski on the call for the ESPN, but we will see you at halftime for our halftime show. Don't forget about that, and we'll see you then. Go Bills.